All right then, welcome back again to Module 6. This is lesson number 4. We're going to touch on some marketing here in lesson number 4. Keeping in mind that I am not a marketing expert. I am a real estate investing expert. But I have over the years learned some good marketing tips, which I am more than happy to share with you. So let's get started. Marketing. Well, first of all, realize that the best deals are the deals that you are going to find yourself. That's what's happened for myself personally. The absolute best deals I've done, I've found myself. What you want to do is you want to get noticed and you want to be different. And you want to have people calling you. So this all goes towards different marketing, not your conventional marketing. It's called guerrilla marketing. So again, keeping in mind that the absolute best deals are the deals that you find. So I have used bandit signs. Now, the first time that I started using bandit signs, these are these Coroplast, like they're plastic signs that realtors use. And you can get these made up relatively inexpensively. And an example right here, we buy houses cash fast, and your phone number. Stop foreclosures. I buy houses any condition, any price, any location. All kinds of bandit signs like that. And then you put those around in the public areas. You can't put them on private property. You are not even supposed to put them on town or city property as well, municipal property. However, you see them up all over the place. So here's a little tip for you. If you're going to go to a busy corner and put it on the hydro pole or the light standard at the corner, don't just stand on the street and fasten it right there. Get a little ladder, climb up the ladder and put the sign up about 10 or 12 feet up in the air. That way it's more difficult for the city worker to take it down. Also, don't put putting the signs up on a Monday, because that gives the city workers all week to take the sign down. If you put it up Friday afternoon, then the sign will likely stay up for at least a few days until next Monday. And quite often the signs will stay up for weeks. Now, these signs do generate calls, so be ready to answer these calls with these bandit signs. Also having what we call tear-off tabs. So you can post these types of marketing papers in stores like Walmart's, coffee shops, grocery stores, any place that they have these bulletin boards. You can put up your marketing material there, and make sure that your pull-off tab not only has your name and phone number on it, you may want to on the back of it. And this is something very few people do, because once you pull that little tab off, 2 or 3 days later you find it in your pocket and you wonder, what's that from? Just on the very back of those tabs, you might want to just put your website, or put what in a very brief description what that was in very small print. So, oh yeah, I remember now, and they'll call. Bird dogging. So this is a referral business. In real estate, you have to be very careful, because if a person is bird dogging, meaning that they are giving you consistent leads and you are compensating them for those leads, then they are actively trading in real estate, which is you need to have a license to trade in real estate. So you and or the person doing the bird dogging can be subject to some substantial fines. However, bird dogging referrals goes on all the time. It's also called networking. So it's a great way, and it's a fantastic way actually of finding leads, potential deals. For myself personally, one of the best leads that I received was through, we have coin-operated laundry in one of our buildings, and I contacted the local sales rep who came out, and very, very chatty guy. We struck up lots of conversations after that, and he actually gave me a couple really good leads of potential properties that were going to be coming on the market, because he heard through his contacts at the properties, dealing with the property managers or the on-site supervisors, that the landlord was getting ready to sell, not sure what was going to happen to the contracts for the laundry. So that's a potential bird dog. You got to think of who the bird dogs can be for you. Newspaper ads, absolutely phenomenal way, but again, you want to create your ads so they stand out. You don't want to, anything that is typical and blends in is going to get lost with all of the other ads. So what you want to do is what we call reverse print. So you see in the We Buy Houses ad there where it's black with white numbers. Normally when you do an ad in a newspaper, it's white background with black print. But doing the reverse print, that whole ad will just jump out at you. Also, putting in a yellow background just to highlight it. Is it going to cost you a little bit more money? Yes, absolutely, it's going to cost you a little bit more money. Putting your ad in upside down it makes it look like a mistake, and when people are scanning through, that ad's going to jump out. And I'd be willing to bet money that 9 times out of 10, everybody who's reading that paper is going to turn the paper upside down to see what that ad actually is. Who's the idiot who put their ad in upside down? That idiot is you. And you did it deliberately because now you've got them reading your ad, which was the whole point. So this is the type of guerrilla advertising marketing. Internets and ad searches, absolutely. Going out and doing some farming. So what that means is you identify a neighborhood or an area of the city, town that you want to invest in, and you drive that neighborhood street by street, slowly stalking it. Don't be surprised if you get stopped by a police officer because somebody phones in about the stalker going up and down the street. But have a notepad, identify the property that you're interested in. You can even go up and knock on the door to see if the owner lives in that property or if the person who is living there knows who the owner is or who the property manager is. And find out who the owner is and then approach them to see if they're interested in selling that property. You can call them, you can email them, you can write them. I would suggest you either call or write them a personal letter in order to see if they would be interested in selling their particular property. Always have business cards, and don't be cheap on your business cards. Make sure that your card is professional. Make sure it is of good quality stock with no ridges. In other words, don't create your own business card on your computer and then go to the local print shop, or not print shop, that would be a good place to go. Go to the local stationery store and get your own business cards and print them off in your computer. And then you have to rip the cards apart. So when you hand the card to somebody else, they're going to take that card, they're going to play with it, they're going to feel the stock, the size of the weight of the paper, then they're going to feel those little rough edges, and their immediate thought is, this person is cheap. I don't want to do business with a cheap person. So it is not very expensive to get business cards, good quality stock, good quality cards that you can get designed. I've been buying them myself for about $35 plus tax for 1,000 business cards. I think that's pretty cheap. It's probably closer to $45 or $50, but even so, $50 for 1,000 business cards is dirt cheap, yet they're going to look much better than the cards you can print off yourself. You want to keep them simple yet informative. Too many people will get their card and they'll get it all splashy. They'll make it glossy with all kinds of colors on it. That's over the top. What it needs to be is very pleasing to the eye. The person who's reading it can see the information very quickly and easily, and it means something to them. Your message needs to reflect what your elevator pitch. So don't write your elevator pitch down there. But keep in mind all those points that I shared with you about creating an elevator pitch. That's the type of information you need on your business card. I can't believe the number of business cards. I've got one sitting right here. It tells me the person's name with their designation, and that's it, and their phone number, contact information. Well, the card means absolutely nothing to me now because I received it about a month ago. I can picture the woman, but I have no idea what it is she does for a living, or what, more importantly, what can she do for me? So that's what you have to keep in mind when you're creating your not only your elevator pitch, but also your business card. It needs to reflect what you can do for the other person. Provide them enough info so they want to know, what you do, but leave them wanting more. Congruency and appearance. This is a huge one. So many people do not believe that you should judge a book by the cover, yet we all do it. Each and every one of us will take a look at somebody. We will judge them based upon how they dress, how they brush their hair, how they walk, how they talk. And we can say we don't, but we all do, even if it's at a subconscious level. So you need to be aware of that. So don't drive up in your brand new Mercedes car and ask for a vendor take back or ask for a $50,000 loan for a transaction or a deal from your investor, because they're going to look at you and say, well, you're driving this fancy car, why do you need me? On the flip side, you don't want to drive up in an old rusted out Corolla and ask for a $100,000 investment from your investor, because they're going to look at you and say, well, you can't even afford to drive a nice car. Why would you're not very successful. Why would I invest with you? So you need to dress the part and be congruent for the part as well. So again, you're not going to drive up in your rusted out Corolla, get out in your jeans and a golf shirt, walk up to an individual, sit down and start talking to the individual, pitching them an idea, looking for $100,000. They're not going to feel very comfortable investing with you like that. Now, if that person is a blue-collar worker and they drive a similar car, truck, vehicle, and they dress the same, that might be a little bit different. However, you still want to elevate your game. You want to show up not necessarily in a Mercedes, but you want to show up in something that looks decent. An old car is fine if it is in good condition and it looks in good condition and it is clean. If you show up if you show up and you're clean, you're well dressed, you don't have to be in a suit. If it's a blue collar worker you're showing up to, a suit would be over the top actually. It would be too intimidating for the blue collar worker. But if you were to show up in dress pants and a dress shirt, that would be appropriate. If you were to show up in a dress pants and a dress shirt to a doctor or lawyer, that would be inappropriate. They're going to expect you to show up in more of a suit. So you always have to dress the part for your audience and be congruent on a regular basis. Then there's the language and the education. So if you're not speaking the language of an investor and you happen to come across an investor who thinks they know a bit more about real estate investing than they actually do, but they at least know some language or some terminology. If they start throwing acronyms at you like this and you don't have a clue what they're talking about, then you've just shot yourself in the foot. Now, if you don't know what all of these acronyms mean, then you've got some more learning to do. So we've got the vendor take back, we have line of credit, total debt service, gross debt service, debt credit ratio, gross rent multiplier, your capitalization rate, loan to value, after repair value, comparative market analysis, return on investment, net operating income, total operating expenses, gross operating income, and there's others. Those are the main ones. But again, it's one thing for me to rhyme them off, but I also need to know how to describe them or explain them to a potential investor. Again, keeping in mind you don't want to overwhelm them. So you don't want to start throwing these acronyms out because you're going to intimidate and overwhelm the potential investor. However, if the investor asks you what the cap rate is in the market for this particular property, and you say, again, the last thing you want to do is lie. If you don't know the answer to a question from your investor, never lie. Simply say, you know what, that's a great question. I don't have the answer at the tip of my tongue, but my partner will have the answer and I can get back to you with that. Never lie. So you need to know what these are, how they're calculated, and how do they affect me. Your knowledge will simply instill confidence in the potential investor, and your lack of knowledge can ruin everything, especially if you try and BS them. Again, if you do not know the answer, do not BS them. Simply say, that's a good question. I don't know the answer. I apologize. I will get back to you. And then get back to them with the answer. They may decide right then and there that they're not interested in investing with you because of that. However, don't make that assumption. Go get the answer, go back to them, present to them what the answer is, because you never know when they will potentially become an investor in the future. Networking. So, I don't know if you've ever heard the statement that your net worth equals your network. That is so true. What you need to be doing is out there working, talking with people all the time about what it is you do, what you're looking for. This activity is going to lead to leads. So you need to be active all the time looking for these deals. Now, A lot of people, what they believe will happen is that it's easy. They'll go out and they'll start looking at 1 or 2 deals, and they're going to buy 1 or 2 of these deals as well. The reality is it takes work. You're going to be looking at 100 deals, analyzing 100 potential deals, really looking much closer at 10, maybe buying 1. Or it could be a 53 ratio as well. But the bottom line is you're going to be looking at a lot of properties even to get close to finding 1 really good deal. Don't buy the first opportunity. Even if it looks like a really fantastic deal, I would compel you not to buy that deal because you never know. You need to go through the process of learning what a good deal actually looks like. Be patient. It will take time. Be willing to give with no expectation of anything in return. In other words, give of yourself information, knowledge, experience. Don't, if somebody says, can you teach me how to do this? I'm not saying teach them how to do it. However, if somebody says, well, how did you do that? Share with them how you did it. You have to find that balance of what works for you as well, because there are people who will just take from you and take lots of knowledge that you've paid a lot of good money for and or you put a lot of time and effort into acquiring. And there's value in that. And if you don't receive something in return for that, then you've just diminished the value of everything you've learned. So, but on the flip side, you do need to give with no expectation of return, because you need to have that mindset of abundance, knowing that there's more out there for everybody, more than enough for everybody out there. So you will get more than your fair share of opportunities to you. You also want to maintain that open mindset for new ideas and ask, how can I? Because simply by having this new mindset, the same opportunities could have passed by you last year and you would have just watched it go by because you didn't have a clue what to do with that. Now, with this new mindset, what you're going to do is you're going to say, well, how can I take advantage of that? And simply by asking that one little question, you're opening up your subconscious to come up with new ideas, which will potentially create new opportunities for you. All right, so that's it for the marketing session. Again, any questions, please feel free to email me at kbeaton@arcarealestate.ca, and I look forward to speaking with you on the live webinar. Take care. Bye now.